Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Montgomery and the docks and what happened and a whole bunch of questions that came in and a misunderstanding of what something means. Okay, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about, over the weekend there was an altercation that occurred at the docks there at the river in Montgomery. There was a pontoon boat piloted by, looks like a group of white people, and it had docked in a spot where a riverboat is supposed to dock. My understanding is that a dock worker who is black is telling them to move. This prompts an altercation. I have no idea what actually happened, no clue, okay? But what is very visible is a whole bunch of white people beating on this black person. And then black people from everywhere started coming to his aid. This has prompted a whole lot of questions for everything from, why did they all come to his aid? What about the person who, I guess, jumped off the boat, who, from what I understand, is actually a teen, like a 16-year-old. And I think the one that is most interesting is that on social media, people were saying that, you can't mess around on those docks. And I got a question that said, I don't get it. They said not on those docks, but I've been there. That seemed like a really nice area. It is. It is a nice area. The park nearby is actually really pretty. And incidentally, when that riverboat's there, it's very picturesque. There's walking trails like through the town where you can pass all these historic buildings, to include like a warehouse and a pen and the old market and the depot for people. A market for buying and selling people. Warehouse and pens for people. Montgomery, Alabama was very central to the slave trade. Guess where they came into town? Cotton went out, slaves came in. Black people are saying not on those docks. White people are hearing wrong neighborhood. That's not what they're saying. That's not what they mean. It is unlikely that a group of white people are going to be able to beat a black person in that area in 2023 without eliciting a response. It is hollowed ground. There are markers everywhere explaining where you're at. Once, probably every other year, somebody goes on vacation to Europe and they go to a camp and they take a photo that is, they're smiling too much or they're in a silly pose, something that is not demonstrating the proper amount of reverence. And social media goes wild. Those docks, that action, a whole bunch of white people beating on a black guy, that's not something that is going to be taken lightly. I would imagine that at least one of the people who got involved in that was actually walking the trail because it goes right by there. The pens, I want to say, are like a block and a half away. For a region of the country that likes to scream, oh, my heritage, my history, that's why we need to keep this flag. A whole lot of people don't seem to know it. That's the history. What happened in that area. The pens for people. The market for people. That's what they mean by not on those docks. It makes a whole lot more sense now, right? Now, I would imagine that that certainly had something to do with it. I also, from what I understand, a lot of the people who got involved were co-workers of the first person who got hit. There were a bunch of arrests made. From my understanding at time of filming, there are still 4 warrants out. But there are a lot of places in the South that are hallowed ground. They are places where horrible, horrible things happened. And in the South, everybody just kind of moved along and acted like it didn't happen. And by everybody, what I really mean is the governments that were controlled by white people. They didn't set it aside. They didn't put in a new dock. They didn't memorialize it the way things have happened in a lot of other places. So you can really just hang out and have a few drinks on a place at a location that a whole lot of horrible things happened. So that's, when they're saying that, that's what they mean. It's not a bad area. It's not a rough area. They're not saying wrong neighborhood or anything like that. They're saying it's 2023, not 1850. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.